piece of software from Autodesk. If you go to the autodesk.com website, welcome to Autodesk Design Review. In the previous video in this chapter, what we did was we saved out our drawing, our layout tab, to a DWF file. And what you can do now is in Autodesk Design Review, you can review that particular file. So what I've done is I've got Autodesk Design Review up on the screen. Autodesk Design Review is a free piece of software from Autodesk. If you go to the autodesk.com website and search for Design Review, you'll find the link to download Autodesk Design Review as a piece of software onto your particular computer. Bear in mind it is Windows based only. You cannot get Design Review for the Mac OS, for example. Now when you're in Autodesk Design Review, you're going to go and open up a DWF file. So you can see there we've got our application menu, we've got our quick access toolbar. There's the open icon there. So I click there and I need to go to my desktop, which is just here. And you'll see there that I've got a DWF file. There it is there like so. And you can see I've got various other things like Twinmotion and Unity and things on my machine and various other settings and tools. But there's the DWF sort of sitting in the middle there. Obviously your DWF will be in your location where you saved your DWF file to. If I click on open now, that file will open up. How lovely is that? Look at that. It's a really nice clean view of my drawing. So what I've got there is a tool now which will allow me to mark up this drawing and save it as a DWF and send it back to the originator of this particular file. So what I can do is I can zoom in on an area. I'm going to zoom in on the restrooms here. And as you can see, when I zoom in, I've got a nice, reasonable view there of the restrooms. I'm going to go to the callouts panel in the markup and measure tab. So there's markup and measure, callouts are there. I'm going to click on rectangle callout with rectangle cloud. And what that allows me to do is click and drag. There's my cloud. And then I can place a callout. I'll pop it down here like that. And I'll just put something like check restrooms config. So I want to check the configuration of the restrooms. Might put a little dot there just to confirm that it's an abbreviation. So we're checking the restrooms config with that call out and that revision cloud. All I've got to do now is just hit escape a couple of times just to make sure that I deselect it. What I might do as well is pop up here and you can see there I've got things like home and pan and zoom. I've also got a fit to window. So if I do fit to window, that's a bit like Zoom Extents in your regular AutoCAD desktop application. I'm also going to add a rubber stamp here. I'm going to go for preliminary, like so. And I'll click over here near the notes and just pop that underneath the notes to say it's a preliminary drawing. So we've got the markup and the call out. We've also got a stamp saying it's a preliminary drawing. So what I would normally do now is I would save this DWF. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it with a different file name. So what I'll do is I'll do save up here like so, or I can do a save as if I want to with a different DWF file name. I'm not going to worry about file names too much, but what I want to do make sure of is make sure that you've got a DWF file in your library to download. So I'll make sure you've got a pre-marked up DWF that you can utilize in your particular folders so that you can follow along with the videos. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to click on save. And that saves that particular DWF. And you'll notice I can't save it again. There's no option to save it again because what you've done is you've locked in a particular snapshot in time of that DWF file. So the next time you work on this, it'll be the next iteration of the drawing in a DWF format. And what's really nice about that is it creates an audit trail. And the good thing is in the next video, I'll show you how someone can open up this DWF in AutoCAD, make the necessary changes, and then save back out again to another DWF so that you're creating that audit trail of revisions on a particular project. We're now back in good old AutoCAD and we're back in our GF 1031 Southeast Madison Rev 1 complete drawing. Now in the previous video I showed you how to mark up the exported out DWF file using Autodesk Design Review. So once that DWF is marked up, you can then send it back to the originator in AutoCAD and use a thing called the Markup Set Manager. Now, as I stressed previously in previous videos, I'll make sure that you've got an unmarked up DWF available in the library for you to download and test this with your Autodesk Design Review once you've got it installed. So don't worry about the marked up DWF and things. You'll have a nice pristine DWF as if you've just exported it out of AutoCAD. I'm going to go and find the marked up one now. So I'm going to go to the View tab on the ribbon in AutoCAD. And in the Palettes panel, right up here, top right, that one there, you want Markup Set Manager. I'm just going to move the Markup Set Manager palette over here to the right so that we can see the markups. And all I do is I click on Open here and go to Open. I know that mine is on my desktop. There's my desktop icon. And there's my little GF 1031 Southeast Madison Rev 1 Complete DWF. When I open that up, what'll happen is if I expand this now, you can see there's my restrooms config note and there's my preliminary stamp there. So they're listed as markups in that particular markup in the DWF. If I now just right click over this and go open markup DWF, that'll open up the DWF file. But if I right click over this one that has a little sheet next to it, I can open the sheet. Watch what happens. You'll see there when I open the sheet that all those markups, when I move into the drawing, appear. How cool is that? So I've now got a marked up DWF in my AutoCAD desktop app. So all these markups are now showing in the drawing. Now, I'm only touching the surface here. I could run a 3-day course on DWF files, design review, etc. And what we've got here now is the markups that have come back from the person who was reviewing the DWF in Autodesk Design Review. So what I can do is I can select each of these like so. I can change the markup status like so. I'll say that that one's done and preliminary stamp. Change the status there to done as well. Now they're both done. So once I've done that, I can now close the Markup Set Manager and make the necessary changes to the drawing, save it as the next iteration of the DWG, go back to output and output again to another DWF, the next DWF along in the project. So with the appropriate naming philosophy and revision philosophy and file naming and so on, you can generate an audit trail of DWGs and DWFs with the appropriate markups and everything. And it means that you can go back to a specific DWF and go, oh, that was the markups at that revision. Did we do all of the markups? You can then have a sanity check and go back to each subsequent DWF. So that's how clever using Design Review, the DWF file format and AutoCAD is. It allows you to review and collaborate on projects quickly and easily. I'll just hit escape now just to lose that little drop down menu there. And what you can do now is you can save this drawing out, and if you want to, go and download that pristine DWF file and start messing around reviewing it in Design Review and then watch it come into the drawing. Make sure you have a drawing open when you use the Markup Set Manager on the View tab here though. Otherwise it's a bit more difficult to open a file. So you can just have a blank default drawing open if you want to, but you won't be able to open a file from the Markup Set Manager here if you haven't got a drawing open. So make sure you've got a drawing open to do it. I'm just going to close the Markup Set Manager now by clicking here on the little cross, and our drawing is ready to go for the next revision. We're starting another very short chapter in our AutoCAD Essential Training course. And what we're going to take a look at now is a couple of drawing management tools that you'll probably find really useful. They've been available in AutoCAD for the last few versions. So if you're using a much older version of AutoCAD, you probably won't have this particular functionality. So what we've got at the moment is a very, very simple drawing in front of us. It's called Simple Objects _ 001. You'll also notice that we've got a Simple Objects 002 open as well, minus the hexagon. There's a reason for that. So make sure that you open up both drawings in AutoCAD. You need to download them from the library. You know the drill. Download both files from the library, pop them in the same folder, and then open them both up in AutoCAD at the same time. So you should have Simple Objects 001, there's your file tab there, Simple Objects 002, there's your file tab there. Now when you've got both of the files open, what you want to do is make sure that Simple Objects 001 is the current drawing, not Simple Objects 002. You want the drawing with the hexagon in it. I hasten to add that one there. So you want 001 with our little pink hexagon right there like so. And what I'm going to show you is a lovely tool called DWG Compare. It's on the Collaborate tab in AutoCAD on the ribbon there, and there's DWG Compare right there like so. And the DWG Compare is incredibly useful. I'm going to click on DWG Compare now. And what I want to do is I want to compare my 001 drawing, which I've got current here with the file tabs, against the 002 drawing. So you're pointing to the folder where both files are saved, and you're selecting the 002 file. When I click on open, the screen changes and we're now in DWG Compare. And what you've got is you've got this little sort of box here that's locked. It's a revision cloud, but it's letting me know that that hexagon is obviously not in one of the drawings. So if I go to my settings here, not in current drawing, only in current drawing, draw order, cloud display, etc. So if you look at those settings at the moment, you can see we've got a green hexagon, which shows that it's only in the current drawing. If it was red, it wouldn't be in the current drawing. Anything that's grey, like the circle and the rectangle behind this little dialog box, are showing no differences. The RevCloud display that highlights the differences is currently rectangular. I could change that to polygonal, and what would happen there is that would actually take it around the hexagon slightly more, but what it's doing there, you'll see, is it's kind of going with the vertices of the hexagon, so it'll stay sort of rectangular, if you see what I mean. So what I can do there is change that to polygonal, like so, maybe update the size, make it bigger, smaller, etc. I can also filter for things like hatch and text. So when I've come back in here, you can see it's still highlighting that, like so. There's my RevCloud there. Now, what I can also do is I can jump to that particular, obviously highlighted change in the drawings. If I click on the arrows, it'll zoom in on that. If I zoom back, obviously, and go forward, there's only one, so I can't really do much else with the arrows. What I can also do is I can import objects from the compared drawing. So what will happen there is I can import the hexagon into my drawing 002 if I wanted to. I can also generate an export snapshot drawing. So if I click on this, what will happen is it will give me compare simple objects 001 versus simple objects 002.dwg file. And if I save that, that will just save it in the folder where the drawings are right now. So I click on save, and the background processing of the comparison snapshot drawing is ready to start. When I click on continue, what will happen is that'll save that file, and there's my snapshot processing complete. I can open the drawing, and as you can see there, it's zoomed in on that particular comparison. If I just double click on the wheel there, you can see that I can zoom out and still use my zoom tools quite happily when I'm in the compare snapshot drawing. I can now click on the little cross there, that'll close that, and I can close that particular snapshot drawing file. And do I want to save the changes to that? Well, I'll just say yes for now, that's fine. So we're back in our Simple Objects 002, and there's our Simple Objects 001, still with DWG Compare running, so I can click on the green tick and close it, double click on the wheel to zoom extents, roll out a bit on the wheel, and you can see we're back to our original 3 objects in the Simple Objects 001 drawing, and we've got the Simple Objects 002 drawing, like we had at the start. We're in a new drawing now called New Office Project _final.dwg. The drawing itself you'll recognise, it's that office project that we've worked on in previous chapters of the course. But I want to show you a really cool drawing management tool in newer versions of AutoCAD, especially AutoCAD 2023, which is the version we're using for this particular course. Now, if I go to the View tab on the ribbon, you'll notice on the Palettes panel, there is a Count palette available. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to use that Count palette, but we're just going to check a few things first. Jump back to the Home tab on the ribbon. Make sure you're using the ACAD Tables layer as your current drafting layer. And also, you want to make sure that you're using the appropriate AutoCAD table style. So on the annotation flyout here, make sure that you're using the Object Count table style, like so. Then what you can do is jump back to that View tab on the ribbon and click on the Count palette here in the Palettes panel. Now this will open up the Count palette, and this allows you to count all the blocks that are in your AutoCAD drawing. So you can see there's the count there listing, and there's all the blocks that are in the drawing right now. Now, the reason I got you to set up an ACAD tables layer as the current drafting layer, and that you were using the object count table style, is we can create a table counting all of those blocks in your drawing. So if I click on create table now and tick this little box here to say I want all of the blocks in the table, I can click on insert and there's my table right there. So I can just click, place that in the drawing like so. I can then close the count palette like that. Now, if I zoom in on the table, can you see that all of these have background masking? And basically, they are field data text entries in your table. So there's our block names there, and there's our count there. Now, at the moment, we've got 2 Office Workstation blocks in the drawing. Let me show you what I mean. I'll double click on the wheel to zoom extents. So we have one workstation here, and we have another workstation right here. This one, though, is just regular blocks, as you can see. So what I could do here is I could remove these, like so. They are just separate blocks at the moment, and our workstation is made up of the blocks, so it's basically made up of nested blocks. So what I'll do is I'll right-click and I'll erase those there like that. What I'm going to do now is select this block, and I'm going to mirror it. So I'll select it, back to the Home tab, into the Modify panel, click on Mirror. I'll zoom in a little bit to make sure that I'm getting the midpoint snap and come vertically up the polar tracking line like we've done in previous exercises in the course. Erase the source objects? No, I don't want to. So what I've done now is I've changed the numbers of the blocks in the drawing, because we now have another Office Workstation block there, but I've got rid of those other blocks that were basically individual blocks in that little cubicle there in the Office layout. So if I type regen now and press enter, those numbers should update in the table. And as you can see right now, nothing seems to have changed much. Let's save the drawing, shall we? Let's just save that like so. And as soon as I save, you'll notice that table updates accordingly. So you can see now we've got 3 Office Workstations, and numbers of things like the chairs and the desks and the plant have also changed as well. So if I just double click on the wheel to zoom extents again, there's my little table showing me exactly how many blocks I've got in my AutoCAD drawing. We're starting a new chapter now about how you can utilize some of the collaboration tools that are available to you within AutoCAD. For that purpose, we've got a new drawing for you. It's called GF for ground floor 1031 Southeast Madison _ cloud. And based on the file name, obviously you might be aware that we're going to start utilizing some of the cloud-based tools in AutoCAD to collaborate. When we talk about collaboration with AutoCAD, collaboration is making sure that people have got access to the drawings and your design intent and your content and so on. So what we're going to look at first in this particular video is the ability to save your drawings to the cloud. Now, I use a Microsoft Office account, and I also have a cloud-based Microsoft OneDrive folder that I use as well. It's all linked to my Office account for my day-to-day business. So what I can do is I can very, very quickly just jump up to Save As here, like so. If I go to my OneDrive account, which is all linked up to my Microsoft Windows operating system, you can see there that I've set up a folder called AutoCAD 2023 Essential Training. If I double click in there, you can see we've also got a drawing of the same file name. The reason there's one there already is I've been testing the links and making sure that I can save to the appropriate locations. So if I now just click on there and click on save, it will prompt me, do I want to replace it? Well, I'll say yes in this case, because what I'm doing is I'm saving my drawing that is on my C drive on my computer to my AutoCAD 2023 Essential Training folder in my OneDrive account. So I'll say yes to that, and that is now saved in the cloud. That is how quickly and easily it is to collaborate with your drawings in the cloud using something like Microsoft OneDrive. Now, there's loads of other proprietary cloud-based providers out there. You've got things like Google Drive, you've got things like Box, Dropbox, and so on. I use Microsoft OneDrive as my personal preference, but that's how quick and easy it is once you've got the technology set up to collaborate with your AutoCAD drawings. We're staying in our GF 1031 Southeast Madison _cloud drawing. That's the version that we're using at the moment, the local version of the drawing. Now, in the previous video, I showed you how using my Microsoft OneDrive, I could save my drawing up to the cloud for use by other people. I might have a project folder in my OneDrive account that people can get access to and obviously work on the project drawings. Now, AutoCAD has its own inbuilt cloud-based facility, and it's for use with the AutoCAD web app and the AutoCAD mobile app. Now, if you've got an AutoCAD subscription for your desktop app, you will have access to the web app and the mobile app as well. All that functionality comes bundled into AutoCAD nowadays. So if you're signed into AutoCAD using your Autodesk account, which is up here in the info bar, top right, you can see there's my Autodesk account there. I've got a little blue icon indicating that I'm signed into my Autodesk account. You have to be signed into your Autodesk account to run AutoCAD nowadays as well, because it's a subscription-based license. So you've got to be signed in. So that means you've got access to the web and mobile folders over here on the quick access toolbar. So I can open my drawing from the web and mobile folders. I can also save my drawing to the AutoCAD web and mobile folders. And this is a prescribed part of the cloud based on my Autodesk account. So if I click on Save to Web and Mobile now, what will happen is it will open up the Save to AutoCAD Web and Mobile dialog box. And you can see I've got loads of different folders in here and all different drawings. As I start coming down, you can see I've got all these different drawings in there as well. And they're all different drawings that I use on a day-to-day basis for all different projects that I'm working on. So I'm just going to leave it to save in AutoCAD Web and Mobile. There's the file name there. When I click on Save, there's one already in there because I've obviously tested this to make sure that it works for the video, right? So I'll say yes to replacing it. And that is now saved in my AutoCAD web and mobile folders. And you can see the file path at the top of the screen in the title bar changes as well. So what I've done there now is I've saved that to my web and mobile folders, which means if I go into AutoCAD web or AutoCAD mobile, I can access my drawing and work on it in either of those two applications. And it gives me an incredible amount of mobility. I can be working on AutoCAD Web, which is AutoCAD in a browser. I can be working on AutoCAD Mobile, which is AutoCAD on a mobile device, such as a tablet or a smartphone. I use my iPad Pro for my AutoCAD technology all the time. And it's great because I can be working at my desk, save my drawings to the web and mobile folders, and then I can go out on site with my iPad Pro and my Apple Pencil and work on the drawing there and then. You don't even need an internet connection. You can work offline and synchronize later as well, which really helps because I can still work without an internet connection on a site that might not have good internet or good phone coverage, for example. But what I've done here in this video is I've saved to the web and mobile folders. And basically I've now got the same drawing in 3 different locations. I've got it in the web and mobile folders. In the previous video, remember, we saved it to my OneDrive account. And when we first started, we downloaded the drawing from the library to perhaps our C drive on our computer. So we've got 3 different versions of the drawing that we can utilize in 3 different locations. Ideally, you want to tie those together and make sure from a file naming philosophy and a CAD standards philosophy that you're making sure that everybody's using the right drawing. But you can see how quick and easy it is to get those drawings out for mobility and for collaboration on specific projects. You'll notice in this particular video, we're not in AutoCAD, we're actually in a web browser. My web browser of choice is Microsoft Edge Chromium, the most recent version, and I'm going to be running the AutoCAD web app through my browser to get access to the drawing I either save to my OneDrive account or my AutoCAD web and mobile folders. Now, the benefit you have is AutoCAD Web and AutoCAD Mobile. To sign in, you simply use the same credentials as your Autodesk account that you use to sign in when you sign into your AutoCAD desktop app. So all I've got to do here is click on sign in, like so. That'll sign me in. I put my email address in, click on next, pop my password in. Very quick and easy, providing you remember your password, obviously. So I'm logging in now, and what will happen now is it will take me into my Autodesk AutoCAD web app. Now you'll notice there's all different folders available, and you'll also notice as well that I've got the ability to jump between AutoCAD Web and Mobile and also my OneDrive account. So there's my AutoCAD 2023 Essential Training folder in my OneDrive account. So you'll notice there's a BAK file, because obviously I saved it, and there's always a backup file in my settings in my options in AutoCAD, but there's my cloud DWG file there. And as you can see, it's got the date, the time, the size, and also who owns it, and also who it might be shared with, because you can share drawings from the AutoCAD web app very quickly and very easily. You can also share from the AutoCAD desktop app very quickly and easily too. So that's OneDrive. If I go up to AutoCAD Web and Mobile, these are my web and mobile folders that are linked to my Autodesk account. And if I start scrolling all the way down, I need to find my drawing that begins with GF for ground floor. That's exactly why I named it that way, so I knew I could find it easily. So as I come down my list, there's A, and you can see it's all alphabetical, and there's GF there. And there's my file there. So I'm going to click on that file in my web and mobile folders. Now, depending on your internet speed, it could take a while to open the file. I'm lucky, I've got quite fast cable internet here at the moment, and there's my drawing in the AutoCAD web app. Very quick and easy, and it's opened up in a browser-based version of AutoCAD. It's kind of cool, isn't it, when you think about it? Now, the good thing is you could be working in a client office and possibly not have access to the internet. So you can't go and look at your drawings, perhaps, that are in your OneDrive folder or your AutoCAD web and mobile folders, because you don't have access to the desktop app. But you can just say to one of your clients in the office, can I just jump on your browser? And you go to web.autocad.com. It's that simple. You jump in, sign in using your Autodesk account credentials, and you're then into your web and mobile folders where you can open up a drawing like this quickly and easily. Now, the AutoCAD web app is very, very much based on standard AutoCAD technology. So you can see here in the Model tab, I can zoom in and out just using my mouse as per what you can in the desktop app. I've also got my ISO A1 Landscape Layout tab. There it is there with my title block with my viewport. I'll jump back to the Model tab now. I've got a command line down here where I can type commands. I've got here my status bar with a much more minimalized set of settings as compared to the desktop app, but I can still click here and customize if I need to, like so. I've also got some tools up here. I can save the drawing, plot the drawing, jump into settings. I can share the drawing if I want to. I can also open in the desktop app if I've got the desktop app open. If I click on share, that will allow me to share a link to the drawing through the AutoCAD web app. So I can send a view only link, or I can send an edit and save a copy link like so. Notice the HTTPS address is web.autocad.com with all the various bits and pieces after it. So what it means is it will open up the file in the AutoCAD web app for the recipient of the link, which is kind of clever when you think about it. So I'm in the AutoCAD web and mobile folders. There's my drawing name at the top of the screen. I've got my properties, I've got my layers, I've got my blocks, and I've also got any external reference files that might be attached to my drawing. There are no XREFs for this particular drawing, but when it comes to blocks, there's a lot of blocks in here. So these are all the blocks currently in the drawing. There's lots and lots of them. So if I get all the way down to the bottom, you can see that takes a few seconds to update, but that's pretty quick considering you're on the internet, okay? So that's not bad at all. So I'm just going to zoom back up there using the little sort of pulley bar there on the right-hand side. So like I said, there's no XREFs in the drawing, but we've also got this technology here, traces. I'm going to cover that in the next video. I'll show you how to create a trace in a web app based version of your drawing, and then how to open it up again in AutoCAD. So we'll have the trace set up in the web app, and then we'll open it up in the AutoCAD desktop app. Other tools that you have are obviously your draw annotate and modify tools here, like so. So you can see that you've got various tools available for modify. Notice the icons are exactly the same as the desktop app. That's for recognition. If I look there, I know that that's offset. If I look here, I know that that's scale. If I look there, that's fillet. And they're all the same as the AutoCAD desktop app. So I'm going to jump back up to properties now. And if I select something like a dimension, click on it, the grips look exactly the same, tells me what layer it's on, tells me it's a rotated dimension, and so on. I then hit escape to deselect. It's exactly the same if I select something like a block. There's a block there, tells me it's a block reference, what layer it's on, what the name of the block is, etc., etc. So it's a very quick and easy tool to use because it's so familiar. I've also got my layer drop down at the top here. There's my layer drop down there, and the little one with the tick next to it is the current drafting layer. So it all looks incredibly familiar, doesn't it? I've also got here the ability to zoom window and also to zoom extents, and I've also got here undo and redo. So there's the technology there to allow me to work on most basic modifications and additions to a drawing in a web-based version of AutoCAD. So that's AutoCAD Web for you. What I'm going to show you now in the next few videos is how we can collaborate with AutoCAD Web. We're staying in the AutoCAD web app, and I've got the GF1031 Southeast Madison cloud drawing open in my AutoCAD web and mobile folders, like we saved previously. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a really unique tool that's available in both the AutoCAD web app and the AutoCAD mobile app, and it's called Traces. And it allows me to collaborate quickly and easily with somebody who might be back at the office using the AutoCAD desktop app. So I might be out on site somewhere using the AutoCAD web app or the AutoCAD mobile app. I've got my drawing on my device, which might be in a browser or in the mobile app. And what I can do is I can add a trace to a drawing that I've already saved to the web and mobile folders. I can do this with drawings saved to things like OneDrive and Google Drive as well. It doesn't matter which type of cloud space you're using, so to speak. So in the drawing itself, I'm in the Model tab, and I'm going to zoom in on the restrooms here, like so. There's the restrooms, and you can see the WCs and the sinks and so on. And what I want to do is go to the Traces tab here, like so, and click on New Trace. So when I click on New Trace, the drawing kind of goes a bit weird. Don't worry about it. It's now in trace mode. And you can see there's an SB there letting people know that it's me who's placing this particular trace in the drawing. So this trace will be aligned with my Autodesk account. So you'll notice there's the trace there with the time, my name. It's just called Trace 2 at the moment. I'll rename that in a minute. I'm going to come down here to the Annotate tab and select RevCloud. And you'll notice I can change the arc length. I can go rectangular, polygonal, and so on. I'm going to click on the arc length first. And it's asking me there for an arc length. I'm going to type in 250 as my arc length and press enter. And then I'm going to select rectangular, like so. And I'm going to place a rectangular RevCloud about here. Click, drag it around the area like so. Click again. There's my RevCloud in my trace. Now what I'm going to do is come here to mText, like so. There's only multi-line text available in the web app and the mobile app. So I'm going to click on mText there, and it asks me for a little area to place the text. I'm going to zoom in a bit, and I'm going to utilize this little space just here, like so. So I'll click there, and I'm going to type in check restrooms config. So I'm going to ask to check the configuration of the restrooms. Give the text a good height. I'm going to go for, let's say, 200 there. So that'll be 200 millimeters high in the model space. I click on the tick to confirm, and there it is. Let's see, check restrooms config. So my trace is now placed in my drawing. So I can go up here and click on the tick to say I'm done. And then obviously I'm back in regular drawing mode. I'm not in trace mode anymore. I can then right click on the trace here. And what I can do now is I can rename it. And we'll call it restrooms. When I can spell it correctly, obviously, that's always good. Restrooms config. Like that. Press enter to confirm, and that is now a restrooms config trace. That's done, finished, sorted. I can now double click on the wheel to zoom extents, just like I can in the desktop app. And what I'm going to do now is save the drawing to my AutoCAD, web and mobile folders. So I just go up here, click on save. I can also do a save as if I want to. I'm not going to. I'm just going to click on the actual save up here. So I want save. You'll see that caching because I'm in a browser, and it will say it's saving. And when that goes back to the word save, we know that the drawing has been saved. What I can do now is actually log out of my AutoCAD web app. So I'll click here on my little sort of profile, and I can sign out like so. When I sign out, that'll take me back to the web.autocad.com page on the internet. We're now back in good old AutoCAD on the desktop, and what we're going to do now is go from the Start tab in AutoCAD. I've got no drawings open whatsoever. What I'm going to do is open up the drawing that I saved in the cloud, in the web and mobile folders in the previous video. You'll remember I had the drawing open in the AutoCAD web app, and I was in my AutoCAD web and mobile folders, and I added a trace to the drawing when I was in the AutoCAD web app. Now, imagine that trace is now saved to the drawing somewhere, and somebody has now opened up AutoCAD and now wants to open that web and mobile based drawing. So what they do is they make sure that they're signed in using their Autodesk account, which they are up here. You'll also notice that I'm signed in down here bottom right. There's my email address there. And what it's doing is it's just letting me know that I'm signed in to my AutoCAD license using my Autodesk account. AutoCAD is a subscription-based product. You have to be signed in to use it. I'm going to go up to the quick access toolbar up here, click on Open from Web and Mobile, and it'll now go to the Open from AutoCAD Web and Mobile dialog box. If I come all the way down the list and keep scrolling, just using the wheel on my mouse, I'm looking for GF again like I did last time, so let's make sure that we find it. There it is. There's my cloud drawing there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that drawing up in the AutoCAD desktop app. So that'll take a few seconds to load up, and there it is there. And that's my drawing that I saved to the web and mobile folders. Now, if I go to the Collaborate tab on the ribbon, and I click on my Traces palette, surprise, surprise, there's my trace, the Restrooms config trace. When I click on it, that'll highlight it in the drawing. Now, isn't that cool? That trace is readable in my AutoCAD desktop app software, even though I created that trace in AutoCAD in a browser. I could have also created that trace in the AutoCAD mobile app on something like a smartphone or a tablet as well. So what I can do there now is while I'm in the trace, I'll check the Restrooms config. I'll click on the revision cloud. I can delete that. I'll just hit the delete key. Get rid of the multi-line text as well. Again, hit the delete key. I can now close that trace like so. I'm done with it. It's finished. I can right click on it. I could rename it as complete, or I could just delete it from the drawing. So there's now no traces left in the drawing. And what I can do now is just double click on the wheel to zoom extents, make any other necessary changes, save it again, and then again open it in the web app later on and make some more changes and add more traces. So that traces technology is incredibly useful when you're working out on site and you need the mobility when you're using your AutoCAD drawings. Now remember, if you've got a subscription to AutoCAD, you've also got access to AutoCAD Web and AutoCAD Mobile. Check them out, talk to your IT people, your computer people, and find out if you've got access to them and check out which login you need to use to get into them. So, AutoCAD Web, very quick and easy. It's web.autocad.com. And if you need AutoCAD Mobile, you go to your relevant app store, download the AutoCAD app, and then use your Autodesk account credentials to log into the app. It's that quick and easy. But it gives you that amazing degree of mobility and collaboration with your AutoCAD drawings. We're now back in the AutoCAD desktop app again, and we're looking at our GF 1031 Southeast Madison cloud drawing file. Now I'm using the drawing file that I've saved to my local drive on my computer now. I'm not in the web and mobile folders. I'm not in my Microsoft OneDrive folders. This is just my regular drawing on the hard drive on my computer. Now, what I want to do is just show you a couple of other ways of sharing your AutoCAD files so that you can collaborate with stakeholders on your projects and so on. So what we do is we go to the Collaborate tab on the ribbon, and we've got the Share panel here. We can share the drawing, or we can share views of the drawing. So when I click on Share Drawing, you'll recognize this from when we were using the AutoCAD web app. You can see there that I can share a view only link to the drawing or an edit and save a copy link. Notice the link there opens up in web.autocad.com. So either of these shared links will force the file to open in AutoCAD Web. There you go. So you're making people use AutoCAD Web when you send them a link to the drawing. And you can copy the link and you can preview the drawing if you need to as well. That's one way of sharing your drawings, and you can do that via the web app and the mobile app as well. The other way of sharing your drawings is this shared views technology, and it utilizes a thing called the Autodesk Viewer. Now I'm just going to pop this palette over here to the left, and at the moment we've got no shared views created. So if I click on New Shared View here in the palette, what it will do is it will create shared views of this particular drawing that I've got open at the moment. And I'm going to share the current view only, and I'm going to create 2D views only. Bear in mind, you can utilize this for 3D AutoCAD if you wish as well, because obviously you can show off different views of different sides of your 3D model, for example. When I click on Share now, it will prompt me saying that background processing of the shared view is ready to start. And this again will give us a little icon in the bottom right corner on the status bar, letting us know that the processing has kicked in. So when I click on Proceed, you can just see this little icon starting to flash down here. There we go. Publishing shared view. Now it takes a few seconds to actually publish that view. And there you go. The shared view upload is complete. It's not a complicated drawing. It's not a big complicated 3D model. So what I can do now is I can view this in a browser using a thing called the Autodesk Viewer, which again is free. So when I click on View in Browser now, what will happen is it'll open it up in the viewer like so. It takes a few seconds, again, based on your internet speeds, but there's my drawing in the Autodesk Viewer like so. And what I can do now is I can sign in again using my Autodesk account. Takes a few seconds again based on internet speed. There's my email address, pop my password in. And when I put my password in, what it does is it gives me the ability to have other tools that are available when I'm working in the Autodesk Viewer. Now, the Autodesk Viewer will allow me to view any type of Autodesk file. It doesn't have to be a 2D drawing like this. It could be a 3D Inventor model. It could be a 3D AutoCAD model. It could be a 3D Revit architectural visualization. It could be any type of Autodesk file. But what I love about it is I can zoom in and out like so, quite happily. I can pan as well, like so. I can move around. I can look at my different views. So there's my model, like so. There's my 2D view. Now, the only view that I brought in was the current view. If I'd brought in all the views, I could have had things like my layout tabs and so on. I've got the layers there. It allows me to turn the layers on and off. So, for example, I can sort of move this around. I can dock it and things as well. If I come all the way down to the bottom here, if I want to turn off my grids, for example, there's my grid reference and my grids. So if I click there and click there, you see the grid lines disappear like so, and you've just got the dimensions left behind. Switch them back on again. They come back into the drawing. So that's my layers like so. I can close that at any time, and then I can look at properties. I've got a little properties there. So if I now need to select an object, for example, but there aren't any properties to display, but I can go and click on an object if I want to. I'd have to select it first though. So obviously I'd have to select. So I've got home, fit, pan, zoom, measure, and markup there as well. So I haven't got anything selected to actually pick on at the moment, but I'm just going to close the properties like so. I can add comments to the drawing as well. So if I add a comment now, for example, I click in here and I can add a comment. So let's say that I want somebody to check the dimension style. So shorthand is check dim style. If I click on post now, you'll see that I've posted that at a particular time of day in the 2D view saying check the dimension style. I can export that out if I want to, and I can also, you'll notice, reply and resolve if I need to. So the comments can be added. I can print, I can take a screenshot. Again, I can share the file if I want to. So what I've got there now is a tool whereby I can get anybody to view any part of my AutoCAD drawing. Now, if I just quickly jump back into AutoCAD now, what you'll see is I've got the ability to refresh this here, and there's my view that I've shared. and it's lasting for 30 days. It expires in 30 days. There's the comment. When I click on it, there's my comment to check the dim style. If I'm happy with that, I can resolve it, and then it just disappears. I can also click on the little ellipsis here. I can show as resolved. I can view in the browser, copy the link. I can extend the time if it's getting to near the 30 days, and I can also delete the shared view as well. Yes, I will delete the shared view. Thank you very much. And we're back to no shared views in the shared views palette. It's a very, very useful piece of functionality if you've got a view in a drawing that you just need to send to somebody quickly and they know they've got access to the internet, so they know they've got a browser, so they can open it up in the Autodesk Viewer, perhaps make some comments, perhaps mark it up and measure from it using those tools in the Autodesk Viewer on the internet. We've now come to the end of this AutoCAD Essential Training course, and I really do hope you've enjoyed it and gained a huge amount of AutoCAD knowledge from it. So what are your next steps? Well, you now have a basic understanding of AutoCAD and all its methodologies and technology behind it. You now have all the necessary skills to use AutoCAD as well. You've got skill sets now that have been developed as you've worked through the videos in each chapter of this course. You can now consider other AutoCAD titles in the LinkedIn Learning library too. So you might want to consider something like the AutoCAD Electrical Toolset or the AutoCAD Mechanical Toolset. You can move forward now with the knowledge you've gained, and that knowledge you have, if you keep using it, will allow you to become a much more rounded AutoCAD user. And don't forget as well, maybe consider getting certified. There's an exam you can take for AutoCAD where you can become an Autodesk certified professional. There's a course in the library called Cert Prep AutoCAD for Drafting and Design. Go and check it out. It's all the basic stuff that you need to know and all the topics that you need to know as you prepare for your certification exam. Once again, I really do hope that you've enjoyed this AutoCAD Essential Training course, and I look forward to seeing you again in the library taking some of the other courses sometime soon.